smoky Masaya volcano. We got Mr. Motorcycle Man himself.
Hey!
Hey!
Steve Robertson,
Mr. Steve.
Ottawa, Ontario, Canada.
Welcome back to Generic Expats. Today we have a special guest that is going to be talking about a very amazing trip that he started in the northern part of North America, and now currently we find ourselves in a beautiful viewpoint looking down at a volcano. What volcano are we at right now?
Masaya volcano.
We are in central Nicaragua in the Masaya volcano. So let's go ahead and start out by getting some information about this avid adventurer. Please, could you tell us what is your name, where are you from, and when did you start your trip?
Hi, I'm Steve Robertson from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. I started October 26th of 2023 and I've taken 4 months off work. I'm going to the bottom of Argentina. I had to get out of Ontario before the snow flies, and that's why I, gave the notice to the people I was working with, and I got to go. The snow was coming, and I left. So far, I'm 4 weeks in. Get down all the way down here to Nicaragua, and I got 3 more months to go.
Was it a cold time of year to leave at the end of October? I left Minnesota end of September, and I thought it was pretty cold. Was it cold at that point?
Yeah, when I was coming down, it was the coldest I was coming down was 6 degrees Celsius, so it was maybe 40, 42 Fahrenheit. I had to get out. If I waited another 2 weeks, I wasn't getting out. The only way my backup plan was to get a U-Haul truck and rent a U-Haul truck and drive it down to Philadelphia or Washington when it was warm enough. But luckily, I didn't have to do that.
Yeah, awesome. So let's talk about your trip all the way down to where we are now. We're now in Nicaragua. You left Canada. Did you go around Canada at the beginning of the trip?
No, I beelined it. I left on a Thursday morning at like 4 a.m. and I was going to the Dallas Cowboys football game on the Sunday. Yeah, I'm a big Dallas Cowboys fan, and so I hauled ass. I burned through the state. I've been a lot all over the states, and for me, I just wanted to get through the states. And
this wasn't really an America travel trip. This was specifically just beelining it, making it to Latin America ASAP.
Get to Mexico, get to Latin America, yeah.
Get to where it's warm and watch your football game first, right?
Yeah. So
did your team win on the game?
Dallas won that weekend. Yep.
Great start to your trip, right? You crossed in what border going into Mexico?
McAllen and Reynosa.
Reynosa, yeah.
Reynosa.
And how was that border crossing? A lot of people, they're not really very comfortable crossing into Mexico. I've crossed into Mexico like 3 or 4 times. I think it's fine everywhere I've been to. Juarez, Juarez. Yeah. Mostly in Texas I've done it. I think only in Texas. So how was that crossing?
I was going to actually go at Brownsville. And then a friend of mine that I know in Corpus Christi, he told me to go in McAllen. He says, way easier, Reynosa, don't screw around anywhere else, go right there. And honestly, it was easy to slip through there, no problems.
So you had your documents, you had your license, did you have to show any form of insurance to go across?
Well, I had to buy insurance from a company in Mexico already to enter Mexico.
And then you had to leave a deposit for your bike, right? Let's talk about your bike first.
I got a 2018 GS 1200. My deposit was $560.
Okay.
My deposit, I got it back once I left Mexico. They credited my Visa account, and there you go, I got the money back.
So your bike is considered to be a more luxurious, traveling, long-term type of bike because it's one of my dream bikes actually, the 1200cc bikes, lots of power, although I think, to be honest, mine is 700 and it's enough power for me, and so far on my 14 months I've been on it. So in Mexico, were you just ripping real top speeds on your bike, or did you take it pretty easy?
No, sometimes I was a little bit too fast, yeah.
You took those toll roads, right?
I didn't take the toll roads at first.
Yeah. Okay.
But then I hit a dog.
It has recently come to my attention that I have not given the proper introduction to tell you why my videos and my information is so useful. You see, I've been traveling since 2013, nearly non-stop. Many of it has been within Asia and Latin America. I spent 5 years in Vietnam. And just 5 years ago, I started my full-time lifestyle as the digital nomad that I am today, where I spent at least 1 month in the following countries: Argentina, Brazil, Peru, Colombia, Ecuador, Mexico, Guatemala, and El Salvador. And in this time, I've been doing everything that I've been bringing to my channel here at Generic Expats. Now what this means is that I've been arranging my own accommodation and tasting the local cuisine, checking out the cost of living, looking for entertainment options, checking to see if these places are dangerous, learning how the weather is, and just the overall well-being of a foreign expat living in each one of these new cities.
So that's one thing you gotta pay attention. I was in the country and the dog came out of the grass and I hit the dog and the dog was dead and my bike went sliding along the pavement. But
Watch out for those Mexi dogs. That is a lesson learned.
my problem was I was so used to the Canadian highways, the American highways, big wide highways, shoulders, you know, the trees, the grass, it's all cut back, and not in Mexico. So after that, I learned my lesson. Steve, stick to the toll roads.
So you were driving along the west coast, the east coast in the Gulf of Mexico, right?
Yeah,
What city was that?
I stopped in Tampico. I knew somebody there, and I stopped in to see her. I hadn't seen her in 5-6 years.
Awesome.
And then I was off to Mexico City to see another friend of mine at the Canadian Embassy. But then that's when I hit the dog. So that delayed me 6-7 days.
How is your injury right now? Well, it's your left hand, right?
Well, it's my left arm. And
Okay.
I can get it up there. But, so right now, every second day, I try to book a hotel that's got a pool. Because it's amazing how much more movement I have in water in a pool, and it's good for my arm. So
Okay, so that's kind of the pool situation. You're trying to get some of the exercise and trying to do that.
I've been warned that if I don't exercise, I could freeze my shoulder up, and yeah.
Okay.
But there's no breaks. The X-rays showed that there was no breaks in the collarbone or nothing like that. So I was lucky.
And you had a great experience at the hospital where you were hit in Tampico, right?
I was in Tampico, and it just happened there was a private hospital across the road from the hotel. I went in there, honest to God, 2 minutes, I'm in the door. I barely had time to sit down. They call me in. I go to the exam room. 2 minutes later, a nurse is there. She's taking oxygen levels. She's taking my blood pressure. 3 minutes after that, the doctor comes in. He says, "Oh, we're going to send you for x-rays." 10 minutes later, I'm in the x-ray room. Another 10 minutes later, the guy comes back, no broken bones, but we have to wait for the radiologist to give confirmation. Another 10 minutes after that, and I had everything. And you know what the bill was? $140 US for 2 x-rays and a diagnosis that there's nothing broken. I was amazed, honestly. But that was a private clinic in Mexico, wasn't a public one.
Yeah.
So I was thoroughly overjoyed with the experience of going into the hospital there.
Those are always good to hear about, and I know that, and generally in smaller, lesser-known cities and smaller, not touristic places, for example, Cancun, if you go to a private hospital in Cancun, people are actually taking advantage of big time with thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of bills for things like what you just mentioned. So since you were in a city that wasn't really this international foreign attraction, you were treated properly, and you said that bill was $140. It's nothing. And if you went to a public place, it would have been even cheaper. So it's insane how a good service can be so cheap in Mexico, right?
Yeah, no, it was a great experience. They helped me, and then I got to also put a shout out there to the BMW dealer in Tampico. The guy's name was Oscar. I forget his last name. I got my brakes done the day before. It's just by chance. I had his WhatsApp number. I crashed. I called him. Can you get me somebody to come and get this bike? And he was able to get a friend to come and get the bike. Wow. I was lucky.
Did the bike have a problem with the brakes after you hit the duck?
No. The problem with the bike, the steering was off with the handle, so I couldn't ride the bike anymore.
Yeah. So what other places did you visit in Mexico before going down to Guatemala?
I stopped in Mexico City for 2 days. Mexico, I had never understood that they had big skyscrapers. And I'm in Mexico City, and the people the friend of mine, their daughter took us out. She was like 26, and we're going up 30-story office buildings, and we're going to the bar on the top of the roof and looking out the patio. And there was taller buildings than that. Like I just never had a clue that Mexico City had that many skyscrapers. It was impressive.
Mexico City is definitely a top-tier city, and it has really a lot of the reason why a lot of foreigners and expats go there to live is because it has such a high quality of life for an international standard, which you won't find outside of the bigger cities. So yeah, Mexico City, when I went there for the first time too, I'm like, what? This is insane, right? Especially in the nicer areas like Condesa and I can't remember, where did you go? Do you remember what place you went there?
Downtown, near the park.
Yeah, right on. So after Mexico City, where did you go after that?
Mexico City, then I went to Veracruz. Stayed there for a day. Then after that, I went to, I always mix this up, Coatzacoalcos. That was a different city. And then after that, then I started heading south towards the border. Luckily, 6 days prior to me crossing the border, it was closed. The local people down there didn't want people crossing the border. So it was sort of shut down, and it's just by chance the day I was going down, riding down, and I see these people at 7 o'clock in the morning in the small little towns, and they're all standing there, sitting at the sides, and there was no roadblock, no nothing, and I'm just, silly Canadian coming down, and I'm waving, and they're waving back to me, and I just keep going. So I went through like 2 or 3 towns like that, and then I got to the border.
Was it a protest that was happening in each of these places?
It starts with the organization. The letter starts with a C.
Okay.
So they sort of just shut the whole area down. I don't know why. I couldn't tell you why. But just by chance. That's another thing that just by chance I didn't run into it, and other people did before me. Facebook, you sort of keep in touch with all these other people that are doing crazy stuff like us. We all bounce off the ideas. Where did you go? What hotel? Where did you get gas? You have gas problems. It's a bit of a tight-knit community sometimes once you start hooking up with people on Facebook.
So speaking of that, that's actually how we got to know each other, because there's a Facebook group called what's the name of this group? International.
I'm in so many Facebook groups.
I think it's like an international motorcycle, the Pan American Highway.
Pan American Highway.
Pan American Highway or something, and it gives a platform for people like both of us that are doing similar or the same things, and we can exchange experiences, exchange information, and give each other tips. I've been down here in Nicaragua for a while, and I've been following him. When we started talking, that was in Tampico. You were in Tampico, or before that. Yeah, we started talking before that.
It's all about looking for just getting more information from other people that have done this, and Eric was able to point me in the right direction, and then eventually said, hey, when you get close to Granada, hit me up. And I'm like, let's go.
You let me know when you come and we can check out this volcano. Have you always wanted to check out Latin America, but you felt it was too risky because it was too dangerous and you don't have any contacts there? Are you looking to go to an exotic tropical place, such as climbing a mountain or a volcano? Or are you looking to catch some sun on the beach? Or go on a boat tour? Here at Generic Expats, we offer generic tours to give you that safety, security, and that helpful connection with me to be able to do these tours with no fear. Follow along on genericsworld.net and you can see where I am and book a tour for the following locations as I'm driving south on my motorcycle through Latin America. We are going to be watching a volcano magma show when the sun goes down. That'll be happening soon, so we're going to have to close this up in a bit. So let's go ahead and talk about your border crossing over to Guatemala.
Guatemala. Guatemala. Oh, geez. I'm gonna try to figure out these. Where did I can't remember the names. For me,
Was it Tekanuman?
no.
That was the one I crossed at.
No. For me, I don't speak Spanish. I don't know any Spanish. I have a good translation app. I hired a fixer, and it went a lot quick.
So you found a guy right before going to the border.
As soon as you get close to the border, they're hunting you down, and you just got to be polite about which one you want to deal with. And these guys, they got me through. And
How much did you pay that guy at that border? Do you remember?
Oh, from Honduras,
No, into Guatemala from Mexico.
Guatemala to Mexico. Oh no, that one wasn't very expensive.
From Mexico into Guatemala, you don't remember the border, right?
No.
But you did hire a fixer for that one as well.
Yeah, I almost try to hire
Every single border you've done that.
I don't speak Spanish. I can be there for all day, and I'm still going to be stuck in the wrong line.
What is the most and the least you've paid for these fixers to help you with the service?
To get across to Honduras into Nicaragua, $200.
Whoa, USD.
Yeah. But Bud, you'd have to see where I traveled in that one day. I got first class service. Trust me. I was sailing right through. People were tracking me because there was other people falling behind me, and they're like, "How did you do that in 6 hours?" And I'm like, "I paid." That's simple.
That USD really speaks wonders.
It does. It opens doors. Put it that way.
Okay, so actually, I'm seeing some people going up to a lookout point, which we should go to before we watch the Bigma show. But let's talk about your favorite spots in. So let's talk about Guatemala and El Salvador, those two.
Guatemala, it's by talking to other people that are overlanders, they're traveling, and I got into knowing a guy just through WhatsApp, and he puts people up in his house. He's on Lake Atilan.
Yeah, Lake Atilan is amazing.
And he doesn't charge, he just wants people to come in and see the area, and it was amazing.
Were you in Panajachel, or do you remember which place it was?
San Carlos La Laguna.
Okay, great.
Great guy. He's a motorcycle guy too. He travels all over Central and South America.
Which of the groups is he on?
He's probably well in all of them as well. He's on all these guys. Once you start getting on one bike, sort of Pan-American group, it just keeps going. In Colombia, Argentina, Bolivia, everyone you just jump. You grab everyone because you're just looking for more information.
And so that was your favorite part of Guatemala, was staying with this guy, chatting with him. He spoke English and stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, he was a really cool dude, nice guy. Man, heart of gold, him.
And you did a boat ride around the Lake Atitlan when you were there, or did you not do that?
No, I didn't do a boat ride. That was sort of just resting, recuperating.
From after your injury, did you not stop in any places when you were going from Mexico City and Veracruz? Did you just basically just?
Oh no, I stopped in about after Mexico City. I think I stopped in 3 towns after that before I left Mexico.
Oh, okay.
And then went to Lake Atilan. Then I tried to go to Antigua.
Yeah.
That was I arrived 3 o'clock on a Saturday. Didn't have a place booked. There's a big party in town.
Antigua is literally the party capital, and all the people from Guatemala City come down there. I did a month in Antigua, and let me tell you, every weekend it was just like the cars and the lines going into Antigua is ridiculous. So
I didn't know. I'm just a dumb tourist.
I didn't know either, but when I went there first, but you got unlucky, really.
Yeah, so I couldn't find a place, and it was cobblestones. It was stop and go.
Cobblestone is so annoying. That city has the worst cobblestone ever.
Oh my God, they do. So I actually had to hightail it over to Guatemala City.
Yeah.
And Google Maps says an hour and a half. I think it took me 3 hours to get there.
Because of all the traffic, right?
Oh yeah. Like I like to have a golden rule that by 3 o'clock that day, you better know where your hotel is going to be. And I was getting into 7:30, and I was just getting into Guatemala then. I'd already booked the hotel, but I wasn't there yet. And then I started running into road closures and another party in Guatemala City and fireworks and motorbikes and people walking on the highway. And I'm like, oh my God. So yeah, I got in like 7:30, and I was like, that's not good, Steve.
But yeah, I think overall that that entire situation with Guatemala having ridiculous traffic, I mean, that surprised me big time. That has actually been the worst traffic in all of Latin America so far for me.
Yeah, I would gotta say that's got to be the same thing for me too.
I told you that too, actually. When you were driving through Mexico, I'm like, you're getting ready for Guatemala City because that's what's going to happen. And it happened.
Yeah, sure enough. Yeah.
Sure enough. Okay, so after Guatemala City, you crossed into El Salvador, right?
Yeah, El Salvador. That's another one. It's funny. You walk in. I walked into McDonald's for the first time in 3 weeks, and then you can see, do I want to pay by debit card, credit card, or do I want to pay by Bitcoin?
Yeah, right.
That was another sort of funny thing. But El Salvador was another beautiful country. A lot of people. Everyone's so nice, honestly.
And the fantastic roads, right? Perfect roads everywhere.
Yeah, the roads are great. I went down along the coast as well, south of San Salvador.
Did you go to El Tunco, the famous beach there?
No, I don't remember the beach I was at, but yeah, it's a black sand.
Yeah.
It's all black sand. But another great spot.
And did you stay long in El Salvador, or did you hightail it after staying in San Salvador for a bit? Did you go to Santa Ana?
Yes, Santa Ana, went there.
The volcano, did you see
Yep.
that volcano?
Yeah, we climbed that. That was a 2.5 hour hike up and a 2 hour hike down. That was tiring, trust me.
So as opposed to what we're doing right now, we literally parked right there.
Yeah.
Whereas this one that you're talking about, Santa Ana, I did it also, and it's like maybe 3 hours, round trip to do everything, see everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that was another great view up there. Yeah, just fantastic.
And then after that, after Santa Ana and San Salvador, you hightailed it over to Nicaragua, right? Did you not? You didn't stop in Honduras, or you stayed a night in eastern El Salvador, right?
Yeah, I stayed close to the border because I knew I wanted to make the jump. Santa Rosa, something or other.
Small town.
I wanted to hit the border by 8 o'clock, and that's what I did. And I hightailed it. It was 8 o'clock, and I was in Leon, Nicaragua at, I think it was at 3 o'clock.
So for those that don't know, when you leave El Salvador, you have to cross Honduras to go to Nicaragua. Unless you go in a boat around Nicaragua, by land you must. So you had to cross through Honduras, and you went through 2 borders in 1 day.
2 borders in 1 day.
So do you think it's possible to do that in as little time as you did without paying these helpers?
No, because there was 2 French guys behind me from France, and he didn't think, he spoke Spanish, and he said there's no way I can do all of that without paying. And in the end they didn't. They stayed halfway through Honduras. But if you don't spend the money, it just takes more time.
To be clear, there are actual tour companies that send tourists across the borders, but those are very long trips, and they don't have any guarantee of doing what he did in that little amount of time. Is pretty much unheard of. I mean, when I crossed just Honduras into Nicaragua, that took me like 3 or 4 hours, just one border, and you did 2.
Yeah. No, so far I've been lucky, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. So you arrived in Leon, you decided to do another little excursion, right? Where did you go?
Yeah, we went and the volcano sledding down. It was Cerro Negro.
Yeah.
It was $25 plus then $5 entry fee. They bus you out there. This funny story is that I met a guy at the hostel. I said, hey, do you want to go sledding? He says, yeah, sure. So he comes. We get off the bus. We can see the sleds in the back of the truck. They start throwing the sleds on the ground.
And she's smoky. There's no information here. Evacuation route. And we have some beautiful views everywhere.